I have a theory. God exists. And here's why. First, no, I'm not reading off a sheet. First, I would like to have a bit of a disclaimer. I am not an educated, college educated person. I don't have any degrees. I am not a physicist, which that'll become important a little later. And this is all based on what I would say, what I'd like to call intuitive reasoning. Intuitive reasoning. It's based on intuition, my feelings inside. Substantiated, I think, by outer evidence that I observe. I know I'm not unique at all, by far, in this theory of mine that God exists. Billions of people do believe the same in their own ways. But I just thought I would share some of the reasons why I have that theory. And I call it theory mainly because to prove God in the empirical or scientific sense, the same way that we would prove the existence of gravity, say, to prove God or to attempt to prove God, in my belief, kind of negates the entire purpose of personal conviction. I think there needs to be a certain degree of personal conviction when it comes to faith. You can't base your conviction, whatever that conviction is, spiritual, scientific, social, whatever your conviction or your persuasion, political, is, it's to a certain degree derived from your heart, and it cannot come from anywhere else. Yes, you can have evidence here and there. You can have what you believe to be evidence in your persuasion, but in the end, what truly fuels it when all else fails is faith. Scientists, agnostics, and atheists, not always mutually exclusive of each other, like to boast that they have no faith. Not boast, they like to describe themselves as having no faith or no personal conviction in the existence of divinity. But I would argue, like many Christians have, not saying I'm a Christian, I am a theist, but I would argue that to a certain degree you would have to have a certain faith, not in the theories of science, say the theories of mechanics, or again, not physicist, theory of gravity. You don't necessarily have to have faith in the theories, the conclusions, but you have to have a certain degree, I believe, or heart. You have to have a certain heart, a certain perspective, inner perspective, a certain faith in the process to which you came to those conclusions. No matter what field those conclusions affect, be it political, social, scientific, etc., etc. So, faith, persuasion, political, social, scientific positions on various topics do, I believe, have must require a certain degree of inner conviction or faith. Because if you have no faith in the scientific process of things, the scientific method, the reasoning and logic, if you don't have at least a small degree of faith in it, then whatever process of elimination and observation you use to come to your conclusions is meaningless if you don't at least to some degree, see it as reliable. Because that's what faith is. Faith is a lot of things, but that's one thing faith is the conviction that something, for religion, someone, or some essence, has a certain solid reliability that you can rest your trust in. I heard recently, I can't remember, it must have been one of the talk shows I was listening to,